day, everybody.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is to you. And welcome to the 9th day of Elfmas, everyone. Woo-hoo. We have our lead elves here, and we have a special guest elf with us. Hi, Chris.
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
Yeah, we're elfing away, working away. So thanks to everyone who's joining us now live, and for those who will be watching this after the fact. We're going to be talking about a number of things today, and we invited lots of elves, but unfortunately, because of the way where we had to place it today, some of those elves are actually working, and so aren't able to make it. So we will have to speak on their behalf. But Chris is here, and he has a wonderful story to tell about his wish. But before we begin, let me just sing us in to set the mood. On the 9th day of Elfmas, the elves were sad to see 9 brick walls standing. Very sad. So yes, we've had elves working hard and around the clock. And how many are solved right now, Christine? What's the count up to?
Oh, you didn't ask me this before.
I think it was 49.
I think we're still at 49.
Are we at 49?
I moved some more, but they might have been brick walls. No, we're up to 52.
52! Woohoo! One wish for every card in the deck. Without the jokers. So the next 4 wishes will be joker wishes, I guess, right?
Joker wishes.
Chris, are you working on any more wishes?
No, not what I had to deal with. More on that.
I think we can find work for you to do, though.
We can find work for you, for sure.
I'm sure you can.
So we have 52 wishes solved. So that's we're blown way past last year's record. So that's great.
Yeah.
But
we still have so many more to go.
We have so many more to go. Over 300 wishes. You folks were relentless in adding wishes to us. But so, anyways, but what we wanted to profile today is to show that there's. So we've had elves working on lots, and even though we've got 52 that are solved, there are a lot more than 52 that have been worked on, and some have been worked on by elves and teams of elves, and in most of these cases, in fact, you'll see, but they haven't been able to solve them, which isn't surprising because if it's a WikiTreeer giving a wish, it's probably a brick wall. The majority of wishes were in the brick wall category, so they were hard. They were obviously hard enough to do that a WikiTreeer who's got some experience, many of them, with lots of stuff, couldn't solve on their own. So some of these are just they're still brick wall standing because the elves worked days on these, and they just said, well, we just can't find what's out there. Doesn't mean that they won't be solved eventually. Maybe the records will become available at some point, but we wanted
there's
to highlight.
A lot of reasons for the brick walls. Like
there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it's documentation if it's not available, but especially there's other people with the same names and they get conflated, and it's so difficult to keep them apart. So anyway,
just keep those fingers crossed and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
the dog agrees with me.
Someone just got home. So Finnegan wants to go see. Maybe I'll let him out. Okay. So we're going to just go through 9 of those brick walls that are standing. And Christine, why don't you start us off while I let Finnegan out?
So our first brick wall is wish number 4. It's from Nikki Orvis. She says, finding the Canadian marriage record for my 3rd great grandparents, Peter, Courtney, and Anne MacDonald, would be astounding. If their parents' names are listed, I'd be over the moon. No idea when Peter landed in Canada from Ireland, but they probably married sometime between 1849 and 1851. So I had a look at this wish myself, and another one of our Canadian team members, M. Ross, also looked at it. And M was able to put down a bunch of potential sources to look at on the profile as a research note. But at the end of the day, that time period in Ontario is very poor to find records. Official record keeping wasn't, our first census was 1851. Vital records weren't started until 1869, 2 years after Confederation. So a lot of the records that we're hoping to find would be in a parish register, or we would have clergymen who would travel around the countryside, and they would go from settlement to settlement or village to village, and they would perform baptisms or marriages, and they would write them down in their own little book, and then off they would go to the next one. So they're not particularly easy to find, even if they are available. In the case of the Courtneys, they were Roman Catholic. So then we're trying to find specific Roman Catholic records. There are some Roman Catholic records, but again, was there a church around that time? Was there a Roman Catholic church? Did they keep records? It's a time in history when, everything was made out of wood, and if lightning struck it, it's gone, it's burnt down. So a lot of mishaps happen as well in the record keeping. We did find that there was some baptism records for, I think, 1 or 2 of the kids. And in some of those, the priest actually recorded Anne's last name as McDonnell instead of McDonald. So I don't know if that was something that they were hearing incorrectly, if that was a spelling mistake, or if the mistake is the McDonald. I wasn't able to discern one way or the other, which it was. And the only good clue that I did find was that in one of the baptismal records on their son, John James, the sponsors were John and Ellen Courtney. They have to be related, but there's no other record of them. They just disappear. And I can't find the family in the 1851 census anywhere using any kind of sound X or partial spelling. We do find them in the 61 and the 71, but Peter died in 1870. So in the 1871 census, he shows up as somebody who passed away the year before. And then in 1881, it looks like the whole family's just scattered about. You can find 1 or 2 of the kids, but none of them are grouped together. I can't find Anne and the whole group together in 81. So it was difficult. I tried to look in all of my usual places, but I just could not find any trace of them. So we don't know when they came over exactly. We don't know when they were married. We assume that they were married here because their first child was born here and not in Ireland. But it's possible they got married in Ireland and then came over, but I have too many questions and not enough answers on that one.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, sounds good. Now, I did some Irish research for some friends, and they had the McDonald swap. So that's very common. And Celia actually mentions that as well.
Right.
That's
and there's always
common.
Like the Mic-Mac, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it Mick? Is it Mac? Is it something else? Yeah.
So valiant attempt. Good stuff, but still a brick wall. So,
for now, yes, it is.
For now it is. But at least, that's a clue. So maybe we could find John and Ellen.
I think the only possibility there would be not to find Peter's parents per se, but maybe some of he must have had siblings, and maybe through like a Y DNA, we could connect some Courtney families together. But
that's right, yeah. And any indication whether John and Ellen were husband and wife or just two siblings?
No, it's the sponsors were John and Ellen Courtney, and that was it.
So they could be siblings, 2 siblings.
Could be. I don't know that I find that frequently on parish registers. Like, it's usually if it's a sponsor, it's a couple, or it's
One from each family.
family. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let's move on to wish number 2, which our special guest elf knows all about. So I'll read the letter from Santa, and then Chris, you take it away. Dear Santa, if you or any of your elves are able to assist, I would really love to be able to give my mom some more information on her grandfather, my great-grandfather, Del Pozzolo 36, or 36. I do promise I've been a good girl this year, and I think I am just a little misunderstood sometimes. Kind regards, Joe. So take it away, Chris. I'm going to share your screen so you can show us what you got.
All right. Here we have Umberto Pozzolo, and we had a little bit of trouble with this profile, to say the least. Really sorry, Joe, but we're not able to find anything really of substance. But we did find a few hints that could steer you in the right direction. I actually had to outsource this to my friends in the Italy project for help, and because they immigrated from Italy to the United Kingdom, I usually do Italy to US and vice versa. You know, some people do Italy to Argentina. And what we've been able to find is basically what you found. We found him in the 1911 census. You know, this is accurate and everything else. You know, there he is, Umberto del Poz. It's right there. I don't know if you see it, Umberto del Pozzolo. Okay, and well, the rest of us were just trying to figure out, okay, where did this guy come from? You know, we couldn't find anything. And I had Isabel, who was a member of the group. She was very helpful, and we found out that yes, Dal Pozzolo is in fact an Italian name. He was probably born in Italy, and his last name is encountered in northern Italy, which we confirmed with the website called Cognomics. And if you look at the map here, see where all the names are mostly prominent. And as you can see, Dal Pozzolo, well, we put in Pozzolo because Dal Pozzolo literally means from Pozzolo. And Pozzolo is actually a town in the Piedmont region right here. And the last name Pozzolo is located in Veneto, Lombardia, and Piedmont. And last names of Italian cities can be last names from time to time. We have like Cantazaro, we have a whole bunch of other names. But this one just like stumped all of us because not because Pozzolo was a common name or anything like that. And you can see where it's located. It's located in northern Italy. And today we have the same type of concentration right here. This is actually the Italian phone book website.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We're a little outside the box. Just like, you know, why don't we just check the phone book, right? I mean, why not? I mean, we had like no other recourse. Sometimes you have to think outside the box, and basically we just came up with the fact that he was he came to the England after 1901, and it doesn't look like anyone that could be him on the 1901 census. We couldn't find any other Pozzolo. Well, we could find some Pozzolos between 1911 and 1901, but they might be them. But we might have to dig into more, see if they were them. It's probably a long shot, but it's hard to actually figure things out. We had Celia help us out with this as well. We just couldn't find anything. And like I said, we have a note here that says Dal Pozzolo literally means from Pozzolo. There's a place in Italy called Pozzolo. So that's a good place to start. But the thing that would really help the most, guys, is if we had naturalization papers. That would help so much. And maybe the marriage record, because we know that he married Ellen Gravestock Kidd in 1913. If we get that marriage document, we'll be able to get the parents and hopefully a location, just something, some meat, you know.
Am I reading it right? Did he die just 1 year after getting married?
Yeah.
What happened?
You know what? We did not find a death certificate, so we do not know.
Oh.
But if you think about it, what was happening in the world in 1914? It could have been World War One. It could have been World War One.
Oh, but if he died in Surrey,
yeah,
unless there was a training accident or something. So you don't have a death certificate.
No.
Okay.
It could have been World War One. It could have even been the Spanish flu. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we don't have that. And that's why we just like.
Right.
We were really frustrated with this guy for a long time, and just yeah. But it is what it is, you know. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. You just have to move on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that work, Chris, and your team. Very good to bring in the Project Italy team with you as well. So, I mean, and that's one of the things. I mean, when Elves got stumped, they went above and beyond. They called in all their friends, called in favors, phoned overseas, like we've had on previous ones where, you know, someone will, I'm great with the Swiss records. I'll let someone else worry about the US side and vice versa. Stephanie Hill and Christine, your collaboration there. So that's a neat thing. So wish 3.
Greg, I just want to say something real quickly about the Umberto one. Is because it's her mom's grandfather and her great grandfather, assuming Joe is female, DNA would probably help quite a bit in helping solve this, because it's a closer relationship, finding out who the DNA matches are, and working that angle.
And upload it like to Ancestry, My Heritage, and everything else. And since you're like, I don't know if she's based in Europe though. I don't know where she's from, but if she could have access to My Heritage, I would totally do that.
Right.
Well, we always say start with Ancestry because it's the largest, and then you can download and then upload to other sites, and then just pay, you know, a small fee to use the tools at the other sites rather than paying the full amount for the test. It's bigger bang for your buck, as they like to say. And we do have people that will help with DNA stuff.
Yes, cast the wide net, see what you can find out there.
Yeah.
But I think I just going with My Heritage because it has a broader European base. But starting with Ancestry and then transferring it to My Heritage probably is a good one.
Might be better.
Yeah. But that, I mean, DNA could break that brick wall, and it may come down. And to test the oldest generation first is what's always recommended.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, brick wall number 3. Who are the parents of William Broad? There was a Mary Broad who gave birth to a William Broad in Merton in 1752, which seems possible for his mother, but no father mentioned. Thanks for the help, Santa. Anyone work with?
Yeah, so Celia and David worked on this one. It's another English profile. And they left some good notes on William's profile.
Okay, well, let's have a look.
They know that he was born in June of 1752 and christened on the 21st of June with his mother, and his mother was named on the record as Mary Broad. They went through the area, again, when the English researchers are looking at stuff, it always seems to come down to geography. So where is this place that they were born or baptized, and then how close can we stay in that area? The lack of a father listed in his baptism, they were thinking that Mary probably wasn't married, and that Broad was her last name. And also the name Broad is common, so they had more difficulty than they would have had if it had been a less common surname. So yeah, it looks like they came up against the brick wall, but they're pretty sure that he was probably an NPE. There's some other records, but then you're just without proof because of the duplication of names.
Right.
I don't think that they're
not ready to.
Yeah.
That's a difficult one. Yeah. Okay. And being so far back too. That is so far back.
The mid 1700s.
DNA is not going to help.
No. And they did note that if she had been married and the father was dead, they would have written the dead father's name on baptism record, which they did not. So that it lends more credence to the fact that he was probably the father just was not named.
Right.
And that Mary was abroad at birth.
Okay. We've got someone making puns in our chat. It was too broad of a broad.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that.
Way to go.
The surname was broadly used, and
it was broadly used.
He got
broad-walled. Oh no! Stop! Oh no! Don't stop.
No, you got broadsided. Oh,
that's a good one too.
We better move on to wish number 4 from E-Childs. I have no expectations. Well, that's good. Set them low. We'll meet those. But I'd love to know who John Thompson's parents are.
This was a good one too, because Mason found another John Thompson. And I've put the hyperlink in the note there.
Oh, okay. So this one.
So there's John Thompson Jr., which is the one that we were trying to sort out.
Yeah.
And there's another one that was also born in Maine in February of 1801, but not the same John Thompson. And
this is not this John Thompson.
Right. So Mason created a brand new profile for the other John Thompson and has left a note in the profile so that they're clearly noted as two separate people.
Yeah, Maine is a little tricky because I have like 2 Moses Goodwins in Maine. You have to figure out which one's which. So. Yeah.
Mason was able to find John's will, but did not mention his parents in his will. And he also looked in the main genealogy databases without any success on that one either.
And those are helpful to write down your negative searches, like what you've tried but have found nothing, so that people
as short as that note is, it's incredibly useful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like that he went beyond and then created the other profile to clarify the potential conflation.
Yeah, that's great. Wish number 4, Kathy. This is one you worked on. Do you want to lead us through? No, wait a second. Did I?
Yes.
Wish number 214.
Yeah.
5.
We did 4. Where's his number 5? Okay.
Keep it up. Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't get lost on 9. We got 10 tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, my goodness. And then 11. How are we going to do 11? Okay. Take it away, Kathy.
So this is from Anonymous Ellington. I am seeking help with the parents of Woodard Hampton Ellington, born March 12, 1809, Chatham County, North Carolina. Location believed correct, and died June 27, 1876 in Randolph County, North Carolina. He and Grace Bland, the first wife, married in 1833, and Chatham County, North Carolina are my 3 times great-grandparents. Thank you in advance. This is one that I was mentioned yesterday where there was no profile made. And so I used the birth date and location and the death date and location from the wish and created the profile. Greg, if you can, are you able to pull up Woodard?
Yep, there we have
Yeah.
it.
So if you look at the born
It's about.
is about
Mhm.
1809, and it says Randolph County, not Chatham County. So that means that because the information for the born has been changed and it wasn't by me, that work has been found. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that there's a Quaker sticker on, or he was a friend with a Quaker. Quakers keep incredible records. So if you have a Quaker and you can't, and they're, still part of that community, like their whole life, if you cannot find a record of them within that, it's going to be a little hard. But it does go down and list the wife, the other wife, and
this was a blank profile when you created it. You're telling me this was a blank profile.
So when I created it, all it had was, I just use the auto bio. So it said when he was born and when he died. That's like all the information that was on this profile when I created it back on December 22nd. So all this other information has been done by Kirby and Karen Lowe. I think Kirby did most of it, but I can't say with 100%.
I think if you look at the changes log, you'll see exactly how much work was put into this.
Yeah. And if you
look at this, look at all that.
Yeah. It looks like it may be mostly Kirby. I know Kirby did a lot of work on a lot of these wishes.
And not just working on that profile, but then creating the profiles for all of the children, the two wives, sourcing all of that.
Yes.
Just incredible.
Incredible. So,
and
go ahead.
There's tables. If you scroll down for like the censuses, they have the tables with that information. I personally don't like the tables, so I will use a list instead of the table. But there are people that do like tables, and sometimes the tables, it looks nice just because everything lines up better. But you can see who is in the household when.
It looks nice when you're looking at the profile, but it looks like a dog's breakfast when you're in edit mode.
Yes.
Edit mode, but yeah.
And I don't like creating tables manually, but we have help with those now. So.
That's right. We have a table creator, yes.
Right. And so you go down to the research notes, and Karen had commented, I didn't find any Ellington households in Randolph County in 1830, but there are 3 in Chatham County with young men in the household. So again, creating those profiles with the hyperlink to them, where she's saying she found these 3, these could be possibilities. So you could look at them. Then it looks like
these could be the fathers of this profile. Is that right?
Possibly.
And because they're only heads of household and they have one male, the first one, right? So the unnamed males could be Woodard.
Right.
But we have no idea.
Right.
So it would be, that's, again, great work. And again, looking geographically and looking to see, because the Wishy had mentioned that they thought Woodard was born in Chatham County, and you've got 3
possibilities.
Ellingtons, and that's not doesn't sound like a common name.
Right.
So,
and then the next one lists the Ellington genealogy papers with a link to it, saying the middle name is Hampton Mary Jane Cottle, and then she said there's a wealth of information on the document,
but no parents.
Only down, not up.
Down, yeah. But
Oh, and
again,
then I liked this note too here about there was
There's-
only one other Ellington in the entire state of North Carolina. Come
Right.
on.
Really?
yes,
Also, no parents attached.
right. But
So unless there's a bunch of them out there that had their names completely misspelled.
Right.
right. And this is why I did not use research notes at first when I first joined. And then I started realizing how important research notes are.
Yes.
And when you have brick walls like this, you know, Karen saying, hey, here's 3 their possibilities. That's great. You know, Kirby went and said, you know, here's a genealogy papers.
Mhm.
This is a summary of kind of what's there.
Mhm.
And then, you know, there's one other person living there. So when people put information like that, and especially when they sign it, use the 4 tildes for using the WikiTree ID along with the date and the time, that's also very helpful because 3 years from now, someone could come and look at this and say, oh, this is when it was last touched. And there could be so much more out there that it could be broken. We don't know what's coming down the line.
That's right. Yeah. Family Search or Ancestry could publish whole new sets of data for North Carolina records that
Yes.
break this wide open. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
My only question is this Ellington related to Duke Ellington, the musician?
Well, there's a way to find out.
We could go to the
Looks like
we could go to the relationship finder, but if he doesn't have, if this guy doesn't have parents, and depending on how far down, may not.
He doesn't have parents, so the connection would have to be through the one of the wives or the children.
Right.
But he is connected to the tree.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
So
Anyways, good work. But you know what? So officially, this wish wasn't granted. It's a brick wall because we didn't find the parents. But I would say the wishy got lots. Like they didn't get the present they asked for, but maybe they got the present they needed.
You know? Yes.
They need a Ancestry DNA kit to go with their presents. Just saying.
Look at that! All that work. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give them a DNA kit, and they'll maybe find something helpful.
Brick wall number 6, wish 232 and 234 from Brisky. Someone who's probably trying to be anonymous. I'd love to know Catherine Donnan's birth and baptism dates. She was born around 1849 to Alexander Donnan and Jean Leach, and lived around Glasserton, Wigtownshire. I would like to know how she came to Australia. Also, came after the census in 1881 and was married in Australia in 1883.
So not only did they run into a brick wall in this one, but they also found a mystery to solve. They were able to find Catherine with her named parents.
Okay.
Alexander and Jane.
Okay.
In Scotland.
Okay.
If you want to go to her profile, just go to her profile.
There we go.
So yeah, they have Alexander and Jane. They have her in the 51. They got her in the 61. It's great. No worries.
Look at that.
And then she decides to go to Australia, and we kind of lose. We lose a bunch of records in the middle there somewhere.
Oh no.
So David was able to find a baptism record for Catherine Donnan, and in the right spot, but in the wrong year. So it was 1852.
Okay.
And then her parents were George, and her mother's name was Helen Milroy. And he was able to ascertain that that's definitely not the same Catherine, because then he finds her in later censuses, and they're clearly 2 separate people. There was a death record for the father, Alexander.
Okay.
And named as the husband of John Leach, and he died in 1884. And then after Catherine goes to Australia, there's obituaries and everything when she dies, and all these stories about how she traveled the world and how she was so worldly and how she was always interested in everything that was going on in the world, and she would read up on stuff because she was the daughter of Captain Donnan. But he was a farmer.
Yeah, egg lab. Yeah, farmer. Yeah.
We lost.
So how did that happen? Or did she start telling tales once she went down under to Oz? Christine, you're
Probably the tales of,
yes.
if you're going somewhere where you're not known, I think it's a lot easier to embellish stuff than
maybe. Yeah, so look at there. Yeah, Captain, born in Wigtown. What was daughter? So she referenced the right place. You're muted there, Christine, if you're trying to talk.
No, I just, that was it. It just,
okay.
So we don't know who this Captain Donnan is, or if that's a story or what. It's just, that's the end of the information.
Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Interesting story. Okay. Brick wall number 7. Okay, this is one that I worked on, or tried to. From Neil Richter. I would love to find out where my maternal grandmother, Josephine Mary Scanlon, came from. Her death certificate says she was born in Ontario in 1878, but I can find no records of her birth there or who her parents were. I know she lived most of her adult life in southern Alberta, where she taught in several schools around the Youngstown area. I've seen several census forms showing someone of the same name living in various places, usually with many nuns, and listed as a teacher or sister, but I can't tell if any of those are my grandmother or not. The only census I know refers to her for sure is a 1926 Alberta census that shows her along with my grandfather and my mother, and she seems to have just shown up in Alberta from nowhere. So if we jump to Josephine Mary's profile, here she is right here. So born about 16th of October, 1878, which was the date that's on her death certificate in Ontario. It didn't say specifically where, and we couldn't find an actual birth record because, again, the registration should have been there, but without knowing exactly where to look, it's very hard. But Crystal James worked on this, and she's worked on it a couple. She might have added some more stuff since the last time I looked, so we'll have to look. So she, there's a Josephine Mary Scanlon was born between 1878 and 1889 in Ontario, possibly Toronto. That's what, because the different censuses, of course, all gave different ages for her. So she found her in the 1916 census, because the prairie in Canada, we have the censuses on the ones. So 1871 was the first official Canada-wide census for the 4 provinces of Canada at the time. Then 81, 91, 1901, 1911, so on. But the prairie provinces had additional censuses on the 6s. So there was a 1906, a 1916, and a 1926 census that are available, which is helpful. So she was in the Alberta census of 1916. She was found in the 1921 census, and this is all excellent work that Crystal has done. And also found her in the 1926 census was the one that the Wishy had found. And in all of those, so in 1916, she was a single school teacher, but she must have married around 1917 or 18 because she had a daughter by 1919, and there was a birth record for Moira at that point. And then there she is in the 1921 census, the 26. Oh, and the 31 census that just came out, she found her, Crystal found her in that as well. And of course, her ages don't go up by tens each time. That would be too easy. And then she died in 1947, but again, it doesn't say where exactly she was born, so we couldn't find her parents. But we found, so we've added Crystal's added some notes here about Josephine, and I had put together a, where did I put it? Oh, there, free space page. I had put together a free space page about trying to find her and some of the details. And what I did find, so there is a Josephine Scanlon who was a nun, and I found a border crossing record for her. Let me just show that to you. So I was excited. I thought, oh, this is her. Because we knew that she, well, presumably was born in Ontario and then ended up in Alberta somehow, and she was a teacher. And here she is, shown. Let's view the full record so we can see that a little clearer. At first, I thought, okay, so there she is. She's a teacher. Where does it say she was? Somewhere here, I think it said she was a teacher. She was going to a Sacred Heart convent. So she could have been she was a teacher in the school. And I looked up the address, and sure enough, that was where she was. And let me go back a bit to that free space page.
What's on the next page of the border crossing?
It's just the upside down signature, but
Oh,
I
okay.
looked at that. It's just the signature of the guard, yeah, because that's an important thing when you're looking at these types of documents. Passports are the same, right? There's always a second page that you have to look at. But
was there no next of kin listed on the border crossing?
No next of kin. It said none for next of kin, which is unusual. And then I found Josephine Scanlon in a future one in the 1920 census. And I thought, oh, wait a second, this can't be the same one, because by 1920 she was married and had a child. And in the U.S. census, she's listed with a long list of borders, and the head of the household had a really peculiar name. Oh, here it is, L. Stanislaus Garesh. And when I did a search on that, that's Mother Lily Stanislaus. She's the head of the St. Louis private school, Sacred Heart School. So indeed, there was a separate Josephine Mary Scanlon who was a nun and a teacher, but not to be conflated with the one Josephine that we have here. And if I had, what I should have done, and all other elves are showing me up on this, they would have created a new profile for this Josephine Scanlon, the nun, which I have not done, but someone should do. But we could not find the original Josephine Scanlon that we were looking for. So that's
if she was a nun, though, she would be like Sister Mary, whatever, you know?
Yeah, it could be. Well, from the original border crossing, it looked like she hadn't been. My guess was she hadn't done her final vows yet, because it still showed her full.
I feel like there's some, though, that don't change their names.
No.
Depending on which order you become a nun with.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think, I've seen some that they don't change their names. Yeah.
And from the censuses, her occupation went from teacher to one that said nun. And at first I thought they were, because it's the scribbling, I thought N-O-N-E. No, that says N-U-N. No, they mean none. So,
what's the fan club?
The fan club. Oh, this is
that
Crystal must have added this. Details about the husband, not the nun's husband, the person we're looking for.
That's so many questions I have.
Yeah, because he he emigrated to Canada in, I think it was 1906 or something like that. So he's mentioned in the land grant records. So we found all his stuff, and there's the daughter.
She would have been born around the right-ish time to maybe have been a home child.
Oh, who you mean? The Josephine Mary?
Yeah.
Scanlon? Oh.
What if she wasn't actually born in Ontario, but she was brought over from Britain, and then ran away and showed up in Alberta?
Interesting.
I mean, there's just too many records that she's missing from. It just doesn't make sense.
Interesting. See, we were thinking the same thing. Okay, I had not pursued that angle at all.
And I think it would be worth the Wishy maybe trying to get a hold of that original marriage certificate
Mm-hmm.
from Alberta
Right.
to see if there is any possibility. Because I even had looked for her obituary and came up.
Oh, there's just her obituary is basically just one paragraph in a newspaper. Like that's all.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't.
For this one, anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what a fan is now. I was wondering what. Thanks, Celia. See, that's what I'm learning today. What is a fan? Family, acquaintances, and neighbors.
Oh, I thought you when you asked what's the fan club, I thought you wanted me to read and to investigate was. Yeah, I didn't actually. Sorry.
Both. Yeah, both questions
Right.
equally.
But the definition, I should have. Yes, of course, you have to define your terms. That's very important in math and life. Family.
Oh my goodness. Okay, grab the last quote there. The last.
Brick wall number 8.
No, grab the last comment. Screenshot.
Oh. Oh, that is a beauty. Fun.
You guys chat about all these
How many
puns.
parents did you find? None.
I was actually expecting a Sister Act reference, but whatever.
Oh, that
They
is
can't
great.
sing. No
Excellent.
Sister Act references, guys. Come on.
Oh.
One for me here. All right.
80,
Let's go.
number 8. From Linda Armstrong. I'd love to know my maternal great-grandma's father. It's not listed on her birth certificate. It looks like she was born out of wedlock and may have been raised by her gran, Elizabeth Brunston. Any help would be greatly appreciated. I've been trying for over 40 years to find out. Many thanks, Linda. Merry Christmas to all. What do we know about this one? I think, let's see, looking at this one, this Elizabeth, David had suggested that he went through, let's see what the research notes say. She was born illegitimate, so it's possible there may have been a bastardy bond issued, but unlikely due to the family support. Elizabeth appears to have been brought up by her grandparents from a young age. Her birth certificate leaves the space for father's details blank. The baptism record only recorded Rebecca Milliard as the parent with no father. The 3 sponsors listed on the record are probably relatives. William Millard is most likely her grandfather. The identity of Anne Brunston and Annie Brunston is not known, but Elizabeth's maternal grandmother's last name at birth was Brunston. That's David Weinberg had made that comment. The profile for unknown has a DNA connection to Linda Knight. Perhaps this can help identify. So there's a possibility that we might have some DNA connection there. So that's something that could be looked at. David, when I actually invited David to join us, and he said, well, most of the work was actually already done on the profile, and I just went through and sort of verified what was already found and basically summarized that in the notes. So he was very modest, not really taking much credit for doing any additional research. But you know what? Sometimes just looking at what people have and verifying that those conclusions are the same, the same conclusions, that's helpful. Just having a second pair of eyes, because you never quite know.
He's still no.
But he did add the at least the link there. Like he added some theories, and he did add another avenue to investigate about the DNA connection, which she may or may not have noticed before. So that's useful to put in the research notes too. Christine?
No, I think that he saw that, but I think that that profile was already created. Because Linda is the wishy, so of course she would be. She is related to that person. I don't know that there's a DNA connection to anybody else. That's like a placeholder.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a placeholder profile.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Jinx is saying that this was on last year's wish list. So we have a return.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know that it was. I don't have that kind of memory. But moving forward, if we can get the Secret Santa stickers on the ones that we have worked on,
yes,
if they come up again, then we're not going to work on them again, because we want to be able to go through new
one.
wishes every year.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So the last 9 of 9, brick wall number 9, wish 304 from Andrew Siegel. I'd love to be able to determine who the father of Gregor Willoth might be. I haven't been able to find any information past the name of his mother, except for 2 single references to 2 different names. In a marriage document from the 8th of March, his father is listed as Ida Willoth, but I didn't come across Edda. I didn't come across this name anywhere else. Then in a death certificate for Gregor's younger brother, Heinrich, the father's name is listed as Joseph. This death certificate was produced at least 60 years after the death of this mystery father on another continent. I haven't found a record of a Joseph or Ida Willoth in Gottenheim, Germany, around 1860. His mother seems well documented and evidently married a second time to Jacob Maurer. So I assume that Mystery Dad died before then. Mystery Dad. I wonder if this shared last name of Ida Joseph and Maria Eva complicates anything, but I haven't found anything to make me think so. I started working on the family tree about 3 years ago. This was the first real roadblock I came across, and I haven't yet been able to make any headway on it. Given the amount of surviving information about this place and time, I feel like it should be knowable. So,
Dunya
3
worked
years.
on this one.
People have been working on brick walls for 40 years, right? So
Yeah.
he's got
Yeah.
some. But still, 3 years is still a long time to be banging your head against a wall.
And I think that this is another instance where he's not going to find a father without the DNA. Dunya worked on this.
Mm-hmm.
She said that on the, I guess it was on the baptism,
Mm-hmm.
that the father's name was not put in.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was 2 episodes or 2 instances where the father's name was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other record, when Gregor himself was married,
Mm-hmm.
the record stated that she was married to Jacob Maurer, who was dead, but that Jacob was not the father of Gregor.
Oh, it said specifically that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into these very detailed German records we've been talking about this
That's
week.
right. Yes.
Right? So I think based on the fact that Germany is very detailed in their record keeping,
Mm-hmm.
with the potential, the gossip
Mm-hmm.
that slides in there,
Mm-hmm.
that if they had any idea, I think they would have written it down.
Right.
So I'm wondering if this is another NPE, and
Mhm.
Maria, that's her last name.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right.
But
there.
otherwise, like tons of records.
Look at all this work done, though. Look at all those notes. Yeah. That's great. And so listing all of the children, so lots of possibilities for adding more. Do we have Gregor?
The only child that's listed is Pauline
Pauline.
from Gregor and Maria Anna.
Okay, so we could create more profiles could be created, so the wishy could do go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Yep. When you can't go up anymore, you got to go down and out.
Just go down and across, and who knows? Maybe a second cousin will have that missing link in a letter to an aunt saying,
Yeah.
I knew what your father's, or something like that.
Yeah. Again, it seems to be something that could potentially come down to DNA, but I think that might also be getting on the outskirts of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Connectathon fodder. Yes, Celia, you are right there.
Yes.
Yes, remember that. If you're looking for something to do, there's a profile where you can add lots of names from. There we go. That would be good. In fact, actually, a number of our wishes have that sort of stuff where they've listed. In fact, I've done that myself in a couple of them where there was that family there's these other brothers. There's 3 other brothers, but only 2 of them are on the WikiTree profile. So
yeah,
so that's good to know.
Yeah, we do have a connectathon coming in 2 weeks? Yeah.
Yes.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, not 2 weeks.
The connectathon.
Already?
Connectathon
yes.
It's 2 weeks from this weekend. Yes.
Have you seen the new challenge?
Yeah, the new challenge is cool.
Have you seen the combat challenge?
The combat challenge? Yes, the connect. Yes, combat connection.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Very
You're
cool.
trying to Italy, right? Christine, you gotta join us, right?
Yes, yeah,
I
I'm
did.
on,
I did. I started today. I started working myself back. I'm 17 degrees from Paul Revere.
Oh, I'm 19 degrees from Paul Revere, so it's going to be more of a challenge for me.
And it's through a line that I have been looking at, and I keep telling myself, I got to go through that line and make sure that all of that line is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't done it. And now I have to.
And to answer your question, Chris, yes, I am joining Team Italy for the Connect-a-thon this month.
Oh, Christine, though. Christine, you gotta join Team Italy, please.
Team Italy. No. Ho. Hang on a second.
I know.
I'm
I go back and
already
forth from
captain.
Team Italy and Team Canada.
I'm
so.
already team captain for Canada.
Yeah, you're team captain, so you can't dissect. Yeah, you can't.
If you have too many people, you can send them over to Canada.
I decided to do what Greg does and flip flop between Team or Team Italy, but Team England. So
yeah, I could do the same thing. But
anyway, that's
I think
great.
we've got more than enough work to do over here. So
yeah, that's right. So thank you all for joining us for the 9th day of Elfmas. Now, tomorrow, the 10th day of Elfmas, our time will be slightly different. We're actually going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern time in the afternoon, our time, 10 p.m. UTC. That way, we're going to get the Wishy and the Elf to talk about a very exciting 10 things.
Yeah.
You'll just have to come
miss tomorrow.
10 things, I can tell you that. But,
don't miss tomorrow. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be magnifique.
It'll be something.
Chris, thanks for coming out and joining us.
Thanks, Chris.
And we'll see you all tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Ciao.
Bye.